Welcome back to the OHIO podcast, everybody. I'm your host, Buckeye Boggs, aka the Podfather, and you are you, and we're so thankful you decided to join us this evening for another Thursday evening call-in show. And man, the chat's hopping. Good to see you all in there tonight. It's awesome to see each and every single one of you. The phone lines are open 567-483-1999. Feel free to dial us up, and we're going to talk Buckeyes tonight. I got a topic I want to bring up first, though. I got several topics I want to bring up, but first one's first. We have been in a fight for a year and a half. It has been a year and a half since the whole Connor Stallions cheating scandal has come to light, come to surface. And since then, Buckeye Nation, especially on social media, has been fighting with that fan base from Ann Arbor. And in some cases, even fighting amongst ourselves. And we are 3 weeks away from knowing what the NCAA at least thinks. Not sure what they're going to do as far as punishment, maybe, but at least what they think about all of this. And I feel like it has been Buckeye Nation. It has been you all on Twitter, on Facebook, who will not let this die. When the national media was saying, it's a nothing burger, we said it is not just a nothing burger. Now, we've had some other fan bases and some other podcasters who aren't Buckeye fans join us in this fight. But we have been fighting nonstop for over a year and a half against that fan base. And we will not let this thing die in the night. Now, like I have said from the beginning, either we are going to celebrate like crazy or we're going to have a lot of egg on our face. Only time will tell. But my hat's off to all of you, Buckeye Nation, for not letting this thing die. You all said we are going to fight this thing tooth and nail to the bitter end. And that was what the thumbnail was all about from those Buckeye fans who looked all beat up. That's kind of how I think we feel sometimes when it comes to this thing. Plus, did you all hear the rumor that Tennessee has said they are not going to adhere to any bylaws that the SEC and the Big Ten might join in agreements with as far as NIL payments are concerned. And Tennessee said, yeah, we're going to make a state law that says we don't have to abide by any of those rules or regulations. And apparently the SEC said, well, you're going to have to, because if you don't, we might just kick you out of the conference. So there's a lot of talk going down there in Knoxville amongst their fan base who think maybe they'll just leave the old SEC. Do you think that is a possibility? And then number 3, this is connection with that. Does this give an advantage to Notre Dame, who doesn't have to adhere to conference bylaws if there are NIL rules that are put in place? Or do you think Notre Dame will join the Big Ten and SEC when it comes to regulating and putting guardrails in place for NIL? I'd love to know what you all think about that tonight when we go to the calls, which we're going to do right away this evening. Let's just jump right into it, shall we? Let's just jump right into these calls and get jiggy with it. All right, man. I think we've got, yes, I do believe, right off the bat. We're not wasting any time. Here we go. What's up, David?
I feel like a champion today. A 9-time champion. And it's glorious. And June 6th and 7th will also be glorious. I have no doubt in that. There's no way they escape this hammer. the NCAA has shown that handing out punishments, ask Tennessee, ask USC, ask Penn State. We got hammered over flipping tattoos. They think for the largest cheating scandal in which they poked the NCAA and spit in their face, they think that the NCAA is going to overlook that. And, oh, you're Michigan. Oh, well, forget about it. You just do whatever else you want, Michigan, because you're scum and you can do whatever you want. No, they're getting the biggest hammer they can possibly get. And like I said, I'm going to repeat it again. There's going to be one hammer. There are more hammers coming down the road after the FBI finishes their investigations. This is going to go on for years for them. This is going to be, they were laughing, ha, ha, ha. Yeah, we'll see who's going to be laughing here in the next couple of weeks. We'll see who's laughing.
Do you feel beat up, David? Do you feel like this has been a fight that we've had to take to social media to keep it in the forefront when the national media was just, telling everybody to just let it go? Do you feel like Buckeye Nation do you think that do we kind of want to almost kind of if the punishment comes down, should we take a victory lap with this, because we just wouldn't let this thing die, man?
Absolutely, we spiked the football. Absolutely. We didn't let it go, and the NCAA isn't letting it go. Just because the mainstream media is covering, blocking interference for scumbaggery. Heck with them. And I watched a video last night. I don't know if you. I used to watch these two guys. Now I'm done watching. I won't watch them anymore after the nonsense that I saw from SMI, talking about how scum has defied the odds and what they're doing is setting them. I was like, what are you even talking about, dude? They were 7-5 last year. They were 7-5. They didn't do anything spectacular in their post. What was their recruiting ranking for 2025? I don't know what it was, but I know it wasn't good. They added Bryce Underwear, and they had to pay him $12 million to do it. They didn't do anything great. And then they showed a chart like before the national championship, and it's like they went up like 4%, and they act like they'd blown up the freaking moon or something. And then they do every time they mention the Michigan scandal, they did an eye roll. It was like, oh, what? Are you serious? Hey, SMI, you butt clowns. They cheated. The evidence is there. And anybody that's listening to this, if you're a Buckeye fan, or you're just a fan of football and people not cheating, and you happen to be subscribed to them, unsubscribe and go over and give them a thumbs down. Because that was the whole thing was just asinine. I don't know if they're Michigan fans or if they're getting paid from scum or what's going on over there, but that was one of the most disgusting things I think I've watched in a while regarding scumbaggery. And now I'll move on to my next topic, Tennessee. You know what, Tennessee, and I said this the other day I was talking to Chris. You know what? Over this, you know what? Maybe it's time to walk away from these conferences. Maybe it's time to walk. Well, good for the state of Tennessee. No, we're not going to put our schools at a disadvantage. No, we shouldn't do the same thing either. We shouldn't adhere to any of that. No, why should we have to put ourselves at a disadvantage? I don't care that Boise State is at a disadvantage. Sorry, don't care. And I like Boise State. I love watching Boise State. I love the blue field. I love everything about it. right? But you know what? It, we're going to do what we can to make sure that we stay at the top of the heap. And if you know what, Tennessee, leave the SEC because you know what, Notre Dame got to keep every penny of what they've made in the playoffs. Every penny. You'll make more money. And now that they're going to go to 16 teams, and that, from what I heard come out today, supposedly it's going to be straight seeding, which it should be. The best 16 teams get in, regardless of what conference you're in. You're one of those 16 best teams, you should be in the doggone playoffs. If whether it's a 16 format, a 12 team, or a 4 team, if you're the best 4 in the country or 16 or whatever it's going to be, you should be in. Plain and simple. I would say Ohio State, they want to keep putting us at noon. You know what? We'll leave the Big Ten too. We don't need you. You need us. You need our money. You need the number one fan base in the country. Without us, man, that drop off is going to be significant to everybody in the Big Ten, to the Northwesterns, the Illinois, everybody. Purdue, Indiana, y'all going to be hurting if we leave. They're screwing us. We could screw you back. You want to put us at noon so we can't have our recruits come in? We can't play a primetime game against Texas that gives us an advantage? Like I said, we need to do everything in our power to make sure we got the doggone SEC does, Alabama does, and it's okay. Ohio State can't? No, I ain't down with that. No. Scorched earth. No mercy. No prisoners. Stay at the top. Complete, utter dominance. That's what I want. That's what I want to see. The heck with the Big Ten and the heck with the SEC. And they want to try and enforce rules that, hey, first off, watch Sports Talk Jay. He's on all this, on explaining the NIL stuff, and the only way this is going to get done is going to be through a collective and collective sports agreement. There's just things that they can't go around. You know, you're not going to be able to go around legislation unless that legislation gets changed. And good luck with that. And anybody wanting Congress to get involved, I don't even know what you're even thinking. Everybody complains and pisses and moans about Congress, who has the lowest rating they've ever had in the history of Congress. You want those clowns to get involved? You think the NCAA is bad? They can't even decide what to have for lunch. You want them deciding the fate of college football? Please. Remember, these are the clowns that told you there were weapons of mass destruction in Iraq. The only weapon of mass destruction is sitting in the power seat of Washington, D.C. So, I don't know. What do you got to say about all that?
Well, let me say this. What if the NCAA can guarantee to us, the Big Ten can guarantee to us, that Notre Dame also has to play by the same rules in NIL? Because at the end of the day, if the conferences are the ones who are going to be delegating this, then obviously the concern would be that Notre Dame is at an advantage. And they already are at a financial advantage when it comes to the playoffs. They get to keep all of that money. They don't have to share any of it with any other conference teams or schools. So if they can even the playing field out for NIL across the board, and it's a rule that can be easily followed and can be regulated to where if a team breaks it, there will be punishment for it, then I'm all for it. Otherwise, I kind of say, way to go Tennessee, and I think they won't be the only ones to make this move. Now, I'm not throwing Notre Dame out there because I think they've done something wrong. I'm just saying it puts the conference schools at a disadvantage where Notre Dame now, and by the way, with the rule change that was announced today, Notre Dame doesn't, they can get a first round bye now as long as they're one of the top four teams. So that was one of the things that the conferences were kind of using against Notre Dame was, hey, you can't get that bye because you're not a conference champion. But that's done away with now too. So interesting take, David. I appreciate your thoughts, my man. I'm with you. I think we absolutely should spike the ball if and when those punishments come down for the team up north, because I feel like we have been the reason why this thing wouldn't die and hasn't died and won't die. So good on you for that. Any last thoughts before we go to our next call, brother?
No, brother, I'm good. How about OH?
IO! Thanks for calling in, my man.
Thanks for having me.
And we're off and running on a Monday night, ladies and gentlemen. That's how you do it. You come in, you have thoughts, you have takes, you give those thoughts, you give those takes, and you come with some, shall we say, some passion, just like David did right there. That's how you make a good phone call here at the OHIO podcast on a Thursday night. Now, this next caller, you better believe there's going to be some passion on the other end of this line, and she's going to have some thoughts. It's time for the Wolverine Slayer herself. What up, TG?
What up, Eric?
Good to hear your lovely voice on this cold Tuesday or Thursday evening.
It's good to be here.
So, what are your thoughts, TG, about my thoughts when it comes to one of the reasons why this story wouldn't die when it comes to the cheating scandal in Ann Arbor is because of people like you, me, and those in the chat, and those who are watching tonight, getting on their computer, getting on social media, and not letting this thing die.
Oh, it's absolutely factual because the national media wasn't covering it, let alone what's funny about that is if Ohio State did this would be across every single news station in the world. But because this is Michigan and they're irrelevant, no one gives a dang. So, it is what it is. So us Buckeye fans made sure that this stayed relevant from day one, along with Buckeye Scoop. We've been covering it, talking about it to a point where now you're seeing the national media slowly but surely starting to turn against Michigan. You're starting to see it. More importantly, you're even starting to see how people talk about the rivalry game, because once upon a time, this was talked about as the greatest rivalry. Now no one really wants to talk about it as such anymore, just because of the whole Michigan scandals with the Connor Stein stuff, the Matt Wheat stuff, the gambling stuff, as well as a couple other scandals they got going on. So, us Buckeye fans kept this limelight, kept this in the spotlight, kept this going, kept saying this is going to be punishment, kept bringing it to national attention, kept bringing it up, and we pretty much kept making this story relevant to a point where now you have scum fans just coping at this point, which I find funny.
It is funny. It is funny. What's your thoughts on Tennessee? Do you think it's a legitimate threat that they could get kicked out of the SEC if they didn't follow these new bylaws that the SEC and Big Ten are talking about when it comes to NIL guidelines?
Oh yes, because they always try to like scum. They try to skirt the rules, and they keep doing that. So it's like at some point you got to follow rules. You can't just keep skirting them. You keep trying to skirt them, I think you should get kicked out of the conference, especially because. And I get what the previous caller David said. I get what he's saying about how we can't keep doing these regulations and put ourselves at this quote unquote disadvantage. The funny thing is, this is not just going from the SEC and the Big Ten. This is going for the Big 12 and the ACC and all conferences alike. As a matter of fact, if you haven't heard, there's potentially going to be a commissioner of college football where you're going to see a lot more stricter punishments coming for people who break the rules. So for Tennessee, you thought what the NCAA did to you in the past, as far as being strict AF, was bad enough. With this commissioner, he can immediately like relegate harsh punishments without a second thought. And this is what all conferences have been alluding for. And I'm actually all for rules when it comes to NIL. I'm all for it because, first of all, I'm tired of it being the Wild West. I'm tired of the pay for play. I want it to be fair. I don't want it to be where people are taking advantage of these kids. Like you look at Scum, them paying Bryce Underwood, or saying you're going to pay $12 to $15 million, and then you're not actually following through with it. As a matter of fact, a lot of these schools lie about their NIL prices, never follow through with it, take advantage of these kids. And to be honest, you need to create an even playing field. And this is going to go for Notre Dame as well, that they're going to have to play across an even playing field with everyone else. It doesn't matter if they're part of a conference or not, because guess what? You're going to have to follow these very same regulations. So I think if Tennessee doesn't follow these rules and regulations, don't only just kick them out of the SEC. There's a chance they can get kicked out of D1 because they refuse to follow rules. So you refuse to follow rules, there's going to be harsh punishments that follow with it, and I'm all for it.
Excellent. Excellent. Yeah, I think there has to be some guardrails in place. We've been in the wild, wild west. Tennessee wants to maintain that wild, wild west. But what's really funny about this story is this is the same school who refused to give in to Nico I'm leaving and his $4 million request, $4 million request to stay at Tennessee. They refused it, but yet this is the same team, same school from that state who's saying, yeah, I guess we don't have to follow these NIL guardrails if they're in place. I think it's kind of ironic that that's the same school, but anyways, I digress. What else is on your mind tonight, TG?
Like I said, kick them out of Division I and let them play in Division II. I don't care. Like, I'm so tired of rule breakers like this. And like I said, with the commissioner coming to college football, there's going to be some very harsh penalties. So, you might as well. Again, like I said, I understand where David is coming from, but there needs to be rules and guardrails. Everybody, including Notre Dame, has to follow these rules. Everyone. Now, what else is on my mind is about the Texas-Ohio State football game. Texas, you are the softest bunch of people I've ever seen. I swear to God. Like, this really tells you how much they don't want to play Ohio State in a night game. People who don't think night games matter, well, you see Texas don't want to play Ohio State in one. So that should tell you everything you need to know.
Good point.
Especially after seeing what happened to Tennessee when they were in the night game in the horseshoe. They got mollywopped.
What's your thoughts on Manning?
I think he's a good player, but I think he's heavily overrated.
Okay.
And if people want to know why, it's because it's like, guys, he hasn't proven anything. Like, yes, he may have gotten in on some plays with Texas, but it's like, first of all, it was against bad teams, so we haven't really seen him engage against good teams with good defenses. Secondly, he's not perfect. Like, if we're being honest with ourselves, he's got a good playing style. He's got potential. He's definitely got the potential. It's a high potential for him to be a great player. But let's not overrate this kid as if he's something like he's this generational quarterback. As if you guys haven't learned from the whole Caleb Williams debacle of you guys calling him generational and you come to find out that's not true, but you still want to die on the hill. Please stop doing that. That'd be my thing with the media. And listen, I'm going to say this when it comes to the Ohio State noon game. Ohio State in the Big Ten in and of itself pretty much screwed themselves in that regard. Now, am I okay with the noon games? I love noon games, but I don't like the fact that Ohio State has to play it all the time. If Ohio State and the Big Ten actually read that contract and actually thought through with it, probably we wouldn't be in the situation had they looked through that contract. The good thing is we're in the final year, so Ohio State and the Big Ten can change that contract up to a point where they can actually rotate noon games and play more primetime games. So in all fairness, I understand where the frustration comes from, but you have to be mad at Kevin Warren, our former president, who's now with the Chicago Bears, and be mad at Gene Smith for agreeing to this contract, because I think it was stupid for them to agree to it, not really thinking it through, not really looking through the contract, not really, and probably not foreshadowing what could happen. So in all fairness, I think if, again, for this upcoming contract with Fox, you can actually negotiate having more primetime games, instead of carrying the noon slot all the dang time. So this is going to be their chance to correct that. This following has to contact you.
Gotcha. Perfect. Hey, by the way, Lisa says, I love TG on the video you did about Michigan a few days ago. Have you seen how many hits that thing's gotten, girl?
Yeah, I've seen. I've seen. I've seen how many comments too.
Yeah,
I actually have to
it did
go off on a
well.
Michigan fan in the comments once and saying, "Listen, if nothing's going to happen with Michigan, why haven't they settled yet? What, like, seriously, for you Michigan fans who say this all the time and yet y'all don't want to come on the call-in shows, you don't want to come in the chat, you don't want to come talk with people like me and have an intelligent conversation and try to give us logistic, logical reasons as to why you don't think this is a big deal, why you think nothing won't happen. Um, just if you're not going to do that, just shut your mouth from here on out, please. Just shut your mouth.
Well, it's like the prophet Forrest Gump once said, TG, stupid is what stupid does.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about it on our show with Alex Bryan. He said, like, we talked about it where he said, Michigan fans are a special group of people. I'm saying, dude, a special group of people is still smarter than this fan base. They're not the special group. They're more than a special group. I wanted to say the word, but I think you know what I'm getting at.
Yeah, I got you. I got you. Great call, TG.
Yeah.
Anything else on your way out, girl?
All I gotta say is, myself and Sean are gonna have a big time guest next week on Tuesday. It's gonna be a really special guest, someone that everybody in Buckeye Nation is looking forward to. We have a few people that know that will keep it on the hush. Me and Sean, we're talking about whether or not we'll announce it on Monday's call-in show with Chris. Just keep it mysterious because we know for a fact that everybody loves seeing this. And again, I would implore all of you, tune into that Tuesday episode. This is a super special guest, and y'all have been waiting for this, for me to get on the show with this particular person. So that way we can start talking some storm, making the Wolverine fans cry and really talking football in general. So I'm telling you all now, tune in this Tuesday. Oh, I'm sorry, not this Tuesday, next week Tuesday.
Yep.
Tune in.
This upcoming Tuesday, 8 o'clock, TG and Sean, the Buckeye Lounge. Make sure you guys check it out. They're killing it over there. We love having them here as part of the OHIO podcast. TG, great call tonight. Thanks. Have a great weekend, OH.
IO, the Buckeyes.
Man, 2 bangers in a row, folks. 2 awesome phone calls back to back to start the show. I have a couple comments I need to respond to here real fast, guys. I said I would. Get ready. The next call is coming in just a second. Andre Green, Podfather, what does John Kennedy think about the cheating scandal? John is very much on the same page as us. Notre Dame does not like that team up north. They can't stand them. They know how pompous and arrogant they are. Does Notre Dame like Ohio State? No, but there's a mutual respect between us and them. We don't like them either, but there's more respect we have with each other than there is with the team up north now. The respect that Notre Dame and Ohio State fans have and their programs have with each other is the way it used to be between us and the team up north, but they've lost that respect. We no longer need to respect them. It used to be we don't like them, but there was a healthy level of respect. That respect has been thrown out the window when they've done what they have done under Jim Harbaugh and now Sharon Moore with the cheating. And so you've lost that respect. And Notre Dame feels very similar to us, and they want to see that punishment come as well. But they're not as close to it as we are, but they are tendentially kind of watching from afar, hoping that we get to celebrate a huge punishment, and they're going to celebrate right along with us. But great question, Andre. The lovely Sarah Boggs would like for me to share with all of you a really awesome thing that happened for her son, Xander, my stepson. He was awarded at his in his school district here in Delaware. He'll be a Delaware Hayes Pacer next year. He was awarded the Woody Hayes Athletics or the Woody Hayes Sportsmanship Award here for Delaware. There's one boy and one girl from each middle school in Ohio awarded this award, and he got that here in Delaware. So Xander will be going to a banquet here very soon, where he will be with the other Archie Griffin Award winners at that banquet. So we're super excited for his achievement, and it's given to a good athlete from each school who has good grades and shows great sportsmanship. And he was chosen by the athletic director to win that award for the boys here in Delaware. And so we're super excited for him. And so she wanted me to share that with all of you. So that is that. Coming up next, ladies and gentlemen, I like to give this guy the proper introduction that he deserves. Because tonight, for the 70th time, that's right, 70 times, Tyler has called into this program. 70 times, Tyler has brought with him the vinegar and salt, if you will, of a Buckeye fan who has pounded the table for the hammer to fall on the team up north. And he deserves a lot of the pats on the back that are going to be coming here in a few weeks, because he is one who would not let this thing die. Tyler, how are you this evening?
Oh, I'm doing great, Eric. I saw my wife today graduate staff sergeant school here in Fort Lee today.
Awesome.
I went up to Virginia. That's where I was stationed for 4 years. So I got to see my old unit I was stationed at for 4 years today.
That's cool. Hey, real quick, Tyler, Buckeye Pay just became a member. Thank you, Buckeye Pay, for your patronage and becoming a member. That helps keep the lights on here. Buckeye, if you do me a big favor, email me, my man, the OHIO podcast at gmail.com. I always like to connect with everybody when they become members. Again, the OHIO podcast at gmail.com. Please email me. And also, Karis is celebrating 11 months of membership. Karis Washington, thank you so much, my friend, for patronage.
Congratulations, Karis and Beth.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much. We appreciate you guys supporting the channel. We really do. All right, Tyler, I'm going to ask you a question. By the way, congratulations. Let's make sure you tell your wife congrats, man. That's awesome.
I did.
For a year and a half, we have been battling these pompous, arrogant fools who celebrate the maize and blue. And we have been fighting with them on social media, and it has been a fight, let me tell you. I believe one of the reasons we can celebrate what is going to come down in 3 weeks, if indeed the punishment is harsh, is because of people like you, Tyler, who would not let this thing die.
I appreciate that, Eric. I really do. It's what I'm starting to realize. I'm a big historian, Eric. So this is kind of like Custer's last stand for the NCAA. They're putting all the chips in the table. They're going all in.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I think they're gonna cash in all that money. They're gonna get their return on investment. So now that TG and you mentioned about the national media, right? I feel like the national media has been like a turtle or a slug, and slowly changing their tune. It's been very, very minimal at best, but they're changing their tune. So you gotta give them credit for that. But what I find funny is even if we win, Michigan fans are still gonna think nothing happened because they are so their heads are so far up their programs behind that they can see what they have for breakfast. It's they can smell their own farts. And they think that it don't stink.
I know it.
I think that it, like, even if when we win, it's gonna be like, okay, Michigan fans are still gonna think nothing happened because they're just so ignorant. Like, it's almost like you have you beat up on a handicapped person. You feel bad for. It's almost like Mike Tyson beating up on Stephen Hawking.
Oh, jeez. Oh, what a vision,
I'm just
dude.
trying to give a visualization. I'm not saying that he would do that, but I'm just saying, like,
You're
that's
giving
what it
them
kind of seems like.
Tyler, you're giving them too much credit. Stephen Hawking, he's at least he was
Oh yeah,
intelligent.
actually, I take that back. It's more like Mike Tyson beating up on Christopher Reeves after he fell off the horse.
Oh, it's getting worse by the minute. Oh, that's
I
funny.
don't know how else to explain it. I mean, it's like you feel bad for the guy. Like the dude can't use his arms, he can't use his legs, he can't move. But you have Mike Tyson, the greatest boxer of all time, beating him up.
Tyson or Muhammad Ali? Muhammad Ali might have been better than Tyson.
But Muhammad Ali's good too.
Yeah.
That's my visualization when I see this. It's getting closer and closer, Eric. It's like the closer it gets, it's getting more embarrassing.
Yeah. Tyler, what do you think about the whole Tennessee situation? Are you for Tennessee, or you're the third caller? We had the first caller who said, "Hey, I'm kind of rooting for Tennessee because I don't really want to see them put any guardrails down and give a disadvantage to us, an advantage to someone like Notre Dame who's not in a conference." Or are you more of like TG and say, no, we need these guardrails and to heck with the Tennessee if they're not going to abide by them?
If Tennessee leaves, I'm like, okay. The SEC is going to be like, okay, who do we want to replace them with? Like, you are expendable. Just like Michigan, you are expendable, Tennessee. You're not special.
Okay. So you're more on TG's side. I got you. All right. Well, what else is on your mind tonight, Tyler?
I want to go on this whole Texas game thing. But them decline. Oh wait, before I get to that, Eric, you know what I saw on Instagram?
What'd you see on Instagram, my friend?
You know how people were saying that the whole 16 team thing,
Yep.
playoff.
Yep.
I saw Matt Rule had the idea of 40 teams.
40? How? How can you do that?
The only reason for that is because he wants his team in the playoffs.
Right.
Like what other explanation is there? Like, you're putting 40 teams in?
That's
well, you
crazy.
might as well just pencil Ohio State in. You might as well just sharp be us in the playoffs every year then. That's 40 teams.
That's ridiculous.
But now let's go to the Texas and game thing. So Texas, you don't want to play us at night because you saw what Tennessee had to experience when we played them. Well, whether it's at noon or at night, you're still playing Ohio State. You're still playing the same team. So it's almost like you don't want us to beat you worse at night than you want us to beat you during the day.
I mean, I kind of get where Texas is going with this. Like, if you take their perspective, right? We say kind of the same things like when we play Penn State, right? When we play Penn State at noon, that's and in their house, that's an advantage for us because we don't have to face that whiteout crowd. So I understand why Texas is making this argument. Doesn't mean I have to like it, but I understand it.
Yeah, I agree. I understand where Texas is coming from. I don't agree with it either, but it's you're still playing the same team. You're gonna have to come through us at one point or another, Texas. You're gonna face us week one regardless. So whether it's during the day or at night or on Sunday, because I've heard that was a proposition.
Moving it to Sunday.
So you're gonna have to play us regardless, Texas. So I don't understand why you're declining the offer of playing Ohio State at night. Oh, the only reason is because you know that crowd's going to be jacked.
Oh, yeah. It's a different animal playing Ohio State at night in the shoe. It just is. Look, I'll be the first person, Tyler, to admit to you, the shoe is sleepy on a noon kick. It's not full. The stadium isn't full yet.
I see it.
Yeah, it takes the team a quarter to wake up, it seems like half the time. The fans really aren't into it. I can go back in 2021 when we played Oregon at home. I was at that game, and the fans didn't show up until the middle of the fourth quarter, and it was too late. And Oregon took advantage of it, and they jumped out on us, and were able to hold on to that lead. And there was nothing we could do about it. But the fans, and look, I love Buckeye Nation. I love our passion. But that stadium is old, guys. It is an old stadium. It doesn't retain noise like the Oregon or the Washington stadiums do that are smaller and more intimate. Sound does not vibrate off those concrete pillars there at Ohio State like it does at these newer stadiums. That being said, it's a different animal to play in the shoe at night. And it's simply because Buckeye Nation has all day to get liquored up, and when their fandom is challenged, they step to the plate. That's a good point, Tyler. Any last thoughts before we head to the next call, my man?
I'll just say this. Texas, if you try to disrespect this fan base and you don't want to play us at night, well, I'm telling you right now, we're going to show up regardless, even if it's at noon. We might be a little sleepy at noon, but I'll tell you right now, the crowd will show up. Regardless. That's all I got to say, Eric.
Great call, buddy. Io, thanks for calling in. We got a full bank of calls we need to get to, but real fast, we have a super chat. Brian NY, congratulations to my daughter Erin for graduating from Notre Dame last week, and go Irish. Now, just the boys left. Yes, that's right, folks. They're Buckeyes. They're attending Ohio State. He said, "See you this fall." OH. What a proud dad that's got to be, man, to have kids who went to Notre Dame and Ohio State, man. Yeah, Brian. Hey, Brian, when you come to Columbus, dude, let us know. I'd love to meet you, my man. Brian, he watches John Kennedy's Always Irish show too. That's where we met, so I like Brian a lot. So, all right, thank you for the super chat, by the way, appreciate that. Let's go to our next phone call. Here we go. Um, she is marvelous, my folks. That's my friends. That's what I'm calling her. Marvelous Mika. How are you this
Hello.
evening?
Hi, everybody.
Mika,
How are you today, Podfather?
Mika, I'm so much better now that I'm talking to you. I have a
Well, good.
absolute
I'm glad.
I have an absolute hilarious story about camping this weekend. Um,
Okay.
I am sore tonight. Um, I am actually I'm physically hurting, but the reason why I am hurting is because the Podfather fell out of the camper this weekend. I was trying to carry my big cooler out of the camper. Instead of setting it down and walking down the stairs out of the camper and then grabbing it, I missed the first step completely and I just went head first out of the camper, fell about 3.5 feet right onto my knees and shoulder, and today I am physically hurting today. But Mika, I just hearing your voice is cheering me up. So thank you for calling me.
Well, I'm glad I could help. I know how that feels. I feel that way every time my cousin brings her little boy over. He's 7, and I swear if I had half his energy, I could take over the world.
Indeed, right? Indeed. You know what I need is I need more of your knowledge tonight, Mika. So, what do you think about my initial thoughts that one of the reasons why this story, this cheating scandal story up in Ann Arbor wouldn't die is because of us in Buckeye Nation. We refuse to let it die.
Well, definitely. We were the ones carrying the story. The national media wanted to sweep it under the rug. It was, remember Joel Platt said, oh, it wasn't that big of an advantage. It wasn't that big a deal. And now he's starting to change his tune.
Mm-hmm.
We did that.
Yeah, he's not the only one. He's not the only one that's changed his tune. Yeah. So are you gonna take a victory lap? Are we gonna spike the ball on June 6th and 7th? Is that
Definitely.
definitely?
Definitely.
I tell you what, Mika.
They deserve everything they get in this one.
I tell you what, you know what we should do, Mika?
What?
We should plan a celebration podcast
Yes, we should.
with cupcakes, and party one of those parties. Yeah, let's do that, Mika. Let's plan that. Hey, Mika, you have a question. $1.99 super chat from Speedman. He says, Mika, tell us about the West Coast targets for us.
Well, I know we got the tight end from California, the number one Mark Bowen visiting. I think is what his name is.
Okay.
He'll be visiting. I don't know if we're gonna land him, but he's a heck of a prospect. We got a new quarterback we're looking at, Luke Fahey.
I saw that today too. Yeah.
I don't know how to say his last name, but he's from the same high school as Philip Bell. Viejo, I think, is how you say the name of the high school. I'm not good with Spanish names.
Muy bien. Now that
I
tight
said
that
2
tight
years
end
ago.
is that the tight end who's going to Modern Day? Who's teammates with Chris Henry and them?
Yes,
Okay, yeah, he's good.
yes.
He's good.
We'll be visiting soon, along with the tight end from Illinois as well, the Max Sutter kid. I think we got a better shot at Sutter than we do at Roman, but I never count Keenan Bailey out of anything. And the new quarterback we're looking at, I really like him. Got he put up great numbers, and he hasn't thrown an interception, I don't think, his entire career, which is impressive. And I think he's been a 2-year starter, 2 or 3 years.
Okay.
You still there?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm listening. I'm taking all this in because
I think he's only about 6 foot though, so
mm,
tiny guy, but good weight, about 195, I think.
the last time I
And
weighed
he's big
195, Mika, was in the 8th grade.
What?
I said the last time I weighed 195 was in the 8th grade. That's not true. I was actually a senior in high school. But yeah, that's funny.
Well, I'm still not there yet, so.
Well, thanks, Mika.
Sorry.
You're all right. I love you.
But, yeah, I like him, and he'd be a great get to put in between TFC and Edmonds. I think he's a guy that's got enough that if we need him to, he could start for us.
Did you watch my video that I did the other day about the quarterbacks? I think you did. Um,
Yeah,
what do you think about my theory?
I think that it's going to be hard to get a guy to want to come in and be sandwiched in between the two, but
It is.
I think we'll get somebody.
We're gonna get somebody, and I just hope he lasts for 2 years. That's all I'm asking. Just bridge the gap for
Yeah,
us.
I was kind of hoping it was going to be an Ohio kid, but
Me
it
too.
doesn't look like they're going to go the route.
No, and I'll tell you, I think Michigan's gonna get him. I think Michigan's gonna get the kid from Ashland.
He already committed to Appalachian State.
Oh, did he? When did that happen?
Yes. I think when it like the 28th of last month.
It was that long ago?
I think I'm not sure. I'd have to check again. I have it in my notes, but don't have my notes in front of me right now.
I'm gonna look it up right now. Because
yeah, he committed to Appalachian State because the cheaters took Smigel.
That's right. Yeah, or I call him Schmiegel. That's right. They did take him. But let's see here.
I really wanted us to
He did.
take Bernard. I don't know why we didn't. I think we should have, but I wish him the best. And who knows? We're still early. He might blow up, and we might give him a second look if he's willing to wait.
Yeah, exactly.
Give us a chance.
Exactly.
There's still plenty of time. People act like this cycle's winding down already, and it's just beginning. Like, I don't understand why some of these pundits are acting like if you don't have an offer yet, it's impossible to get in the game. It's still really early in the cycle.
It is. It is. We're not even to June yet. We got another week before we can really look at June, but the visits are starting to happen as of this weekend. You're going to start to see some of the official visits happen. Next weekend is when they really, really start to ramp up. And then that's when the recruiting news is going to come at you fast and furious. I got a question for you, Mika. What do you think about the whole Tennessee leaving the SEC or getting kicked out of the SEC rumor?
I think they're liking nobody. They're not going to leave. And if they get kicked out, like, it's not like they'll have to wait around to shoot a heck, the Big Ten would take them. I would take them.
Well, if the SEC kicks Tennessee out, there's no way the Big Ten's going to take them because the SEC and the Big Ten, Mika, are going to have the exact same rules. They're walking step by step with this thing.
Yeah, but I'm kind of leaning more like towards what TG said. Like, there has to be some guidelines at some point, and you got to be willing to follow those guidelines. Otherwise, what's the point?
Exactly. 100%. I agree with you. On that one.
This whole Wild West stuff is getting kind of crazy.
Indeed.
Especially when you got schools that are not paying what they promised these kids they were going to get.
Yep. 100%.
Which I knew it was going to happen. I said it when it started. If we didn't have guardrails, you were going to have schools back out on these kids, and it was going to be a whole mess.
Mm-hmm. Indeed. Mika, what else you got tonight, girl?
Nothing. Just wanted to wish everyone a good night and check in. I told you I was going to call, and I did.
You did tell me you would, and you did call, and you always, Mika, bring a smile to my face. And I want you to know, Mika, you bring a smile to everybody's face. We love you here at the OHIO podcast, girl.
Love you guys too. We ought to do a show again sometime. So, TV and truck, hit me up. They got my numbers. We can do a show.
All right, will do, girl. Have a good evening, OH.
I know. Bye, guys.
How can you not love her? She's fantastic. $4.99 super chat from Miss Pinky. We need to lobby the NCAA to live stream the hearing in June. OH, wouldn't that be something? Man, that would do better numbers than just about anything I think you can think of here in Buckeye Nation. That would do some massive numbers if they live stream that thing. That would be fantastic. I love that idea, actually. Absolutely love it. All right, moving along tonight. Hey, we had the one half of the Buckeye Lounge call in earlier. Now we got the other half here to open up hour number 2 here on Thursday night at the OHIO podcast call-in show. It's the Schrock Star.
Buckeye Bogsy, my brother, how are you?
If I was any better, I wouldn't have fallen out of a camper.
Oh, sorry to hear that, bro.
Dude, it's okay to laugh at. It's all right, Sean. My wife did. Laughing? You know my wife, you know what she did? She said, Bogsy, are you okay? I said, give me a minute, as I laid there on the ground, trying to feel if there was anything broken. And then I'm pretty sure after about 3 seconds, she started to giggle a little bit because it had to be funny. I mean, it had to. I was more worried. She says, anything broken? I go, other than my pride, I think I'm good.
Hey, I want to give a shout out to Tyler's wife for her graduation.
Yes.
Brian, his daughter graduating, and props to your stepson. That's awesome that he's been recognized like that he won that award.
Yep. Chris's
cool.
daughter graduated too. Shout out to Chris's daughter.
Awesome job for Chris's daughter. I know my sister was there when she graduated. My sister's a principal down there, so.
Oh, you got all the dirt about all the kids in Marion.
I hear all kinds of stories, I tell you.
That's funny. Well, Sean, let me ask you this question, buddy. Do you agree with me that for the last year and a half, we have been in an absolute fight on social media, mostly with the fans from Team Up North, sometimes even with our own fan base, back and forth, making sure this story doesn't die. And we're about to cross the finish line. We're about to enter. If this is a 12-round fight, the bell for the last round just rang, and here we are. And if you look at the scorecard of this fight, I think we're winning this fight.
I think it's going to turn out a lot better than what we thought, honestly. And I do agree that we have not let this thing die. Buckeye Scoop was leading the way. Then all of us, every day, you guys wouldn't let it die. We wouldn't let it die. The Buckeye boys wouldn't let it die. There's other podcasts that refuse to talk about it, or even putting us down, putting all the podcasts for talking about it down. So, I mean, we wouldn't let them sweep it under the rug. And how can anybody blame us the way we got screwed over this stuff? I don't, can't let them get away with that, because if you let Michigan get away with doing this, then who's going to stop the next person from doing it?
100%. Like I have said from the very beginning, if I'm Ross Bjork, and far be it for me to tell Ross Bjork how to do his job, but I'll say this much: I think he, in his first year as athletic director, did a 10-time better job than Gene Smith ever did, in my opinion. But if I'm Ross Bjork, I call for a press conference, and I say, if they aren't, if they don't lose, if there's not a postseason ban and games taken away from them, then I expect to hear from the NCAA that the wins that were taken away from Jim Tressel and the bowl game that was taken away gets reinstated, and a public apology needs to be submitted to Jim Tressel and those players who were suspended for Tattoo Gate. That's number one. That would be the first thing that I would expect from Ross Bjork. And then I would make the announcement that the NCAA is officially dead. We no longer need to listen to them because they obviously have no backbone and no spine, and we will be taking full advantage of every technology given to us to make sure that we provide our football team with everything they need to win every single game. To heck with the rules. And then watch the NCAA. Then they would do something.
That's brilliant. That is totally brilliant. I wish you would do that. I don't think he'll do it, but because I think the NCAA, like Tyler kind of said, is like Custard's last stand, which I hope it turns out a lot better for the NCAA than what it did for Custard. But I digress. I don't know if you got a chance to watch Scoop tonight. Nevada said when he talked to his inside sources inside the NCAA that he thinks the punishment's going to be worse than what he thought it was going to be. Because it seems like there's a shift with these other schools and inside, college football, that people want stricter punishments for these teams that aren't, playing fair. So I think they get I think they're going to get it as bad as we thought, maybe even a little worse.
Wow. I didn't get a chance to watch Scoop tonight because Chris and Corey and I recorded a 40-minute video that'll be posted tomorrow morning that you all are going to absolutely love. So that's why I wasn't there. So sometimes you have to
check it out.
Yeah, sometimes you have to kind of keep the content flowing, So, but that's interesting.
And you can always go back and watch it again. That's a great thing about all of our shows is, you can always go back and give it a watch if you miss it. So,
Indeed.
But, yeah, I think that, Nevada had a great point there that, Michigan fans like to say, oh, the only people that care are Ohio State fans. No, there was a lot of angry athletic directors that went after Tony Petitti when they found out all this happened. The whole Big Ten was furious with Michigan. It's just Ohio State gets thrown to the forefront because we're the ones that suffered the worst for it. We're the ones that lost out more than anybody else did.
Yeah.
And Michigan State gets a lot of it too because Spiro keeps breaking stuff. So I mean, he keeps breaking stories and he keeps finding out more and more information. And he keeps dunking on these idiots on social media, and they still keep trying to come after him. And he keeps ruining these people. And they just start
I have a
won't
theory.
give up. I mean,
Sean, I have a theory for that. Would you like to hear it?
yeah, I'd love to hear it, Eric.
You know me, Sean. I've always got to analyze and look at everything, okay? So, one of my favorite things to do, well, actually, let me go back to when I was a kid, right? My family is from Eastern Kentucky. And when I was a little kid,
Okay.
we would go down to Eastern Kentucky. And if you've ever been in the holler, anybody know what the holler is? It's like a little valley between these really tall hills. That's what they call that, the holler down south. And it gets dark in the holler. I mean, it gets dark quick. When the sun goes down because of those hills, the sun goes down and it gets dark. And they would turn on those bug lights that zap the bugs. You ever seen those things?
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah,
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
they got the
Give 'em all
bugs.
seven, kid.
You'd watch the moths and everything. They'd fly in and, bzzz, and to me, that is what's going on social media. Buckeye Nation, people like Spiro are shining a light on this situation, and they are like moth to a flame. They cannot help themselves. They fly right into that. They're like, oh, there it is. There's the light. And they get hit, man. It's over and over and over again. It's absolutely hilarious to me, actually. And I find that kind of funny, watching the bugs get electrocuted in those things, man. I love it.
It's just he has receipts for everything, and that's what's hilarious. He pulls all these receipts out. I mean, someone will come at him and he'll pull out something that someone said, back there in Tattoo Gate, and he'll just burn these people. I'm just like, you guys don't learn. Like you said, it's like that bug that it keeps flying right to the light. You know it knows it's gonna get zapped, but still flies right into it anyways. Boom.
Exactly.
I mean, like I told the Michigan fans, I said if he was so wrong about what he said about Chris Ballas and all these high-ranking people, why does nobody shoot him for slander or defamation of character if he's wrong? Because he has begged people, please take me to court because there's more that I could put out there. Please do it. no one challenges him. None of the Michigan podcasters will have him on a show. They all hide from him. They just call them names because, like most of their fan base, if you watch, this is what they do. If they can't debate you and beat you by facts, they start taking personal shots. And after that, they start playing the victim card.
Oh yeah. Do you know how many times I've been called fat by Michigan fans? And it's because they have no argument to stand on. They can't come back at me based off of facts. They literally have no facts to stand on, and so they resort to, name calling. They're like little fifth and sixth graders, you know, no, I'm not, what's that little, I know you are, but what am I? That I know you are, but what am I? That's literally what they do every time because they have no leg to stand on. They literally, their name is Eileen in a kicking contest. They're a one-legged person in a kicking contest. They're Eileen, man.
And it's just like I just don't understand how they can keep listening to their media after their media steered them wrong numerous times, over and over again. They have been wrong, and they keep listening to them. It's just like, wow. Talk about the blind leading the blind. I mean,
yeah.
If I wouldn't listen to somebody if they kept getting stuff wrong. I'd be like, no, I'm not listening to you anymore. I mean, look at the facts. I mean, we're still waiting for Ryan Day's brother to be arrested.
Yeah.
For breaking into Michigan's computers and hacking them and saying he's the one that dropped the dime on them when actually it came from inside their own walls,
The all came from inside the house.
Exactly, just like the scary movie. I mean, Jim Harbaugh must still be looking for that pencil to sign that. Must be still trying to find a pen to sign an extension.
Yeah. Oh,
I mean,
Mika says, not fat, you're fabulous, Podfather. She's so sweet, man. Bobby Mack says, we aren't fat, we're short for our height.
say you're husky. I'm husky.
Yeah, I'm husky. $2 super
big
chat
bone.
from Bobby Mack. That's it, man. Hey, I got to ask you real fast, Sean, your thoughts on this whole SEC kicking Tennessee out of the conference if they aren't going to abide by the new guidelines that they're laying out for NIL.
Good for the SEC. I think there should be guidelines, and I think everybody should play. I think there should be guidelines all through college football, and everybody should obey by them. If you're not going to, then you should be booted out of the NCAA, and you should be booted out of the. Should be able to participate in any of the bowl games or the playoffs or anything. If you're not going to, everybody should have to follow the same parameter. And all this would have been handled if the NCAA wouldn't have been so butthurt over losing that court case about NIL in the first place. If they'd have just went with it and put the guardrails up and put, structure there wouldn't have been any issues. I mean, now the toothpaste is already out of the tube, and they're trying to do what they can to stick it back in there,
Mm-hmm. Well,
So
the NCAA screwed themselves, Sean, in a lot of ways, man, because they refused to acknowledge what was out ahead of them when multiple people said, you better get out in front of this, and they never did because they kept wanting to hold on to their amateur model that was illegal to begin with, and here we are. We're sitting in a very different world. We got Matty Butcher in the house in the chat from Australia, and when Matt came over from Australia here to the States, we were talking with him, and he was explaining to us they don't have high school sports. He wanted to go to a high school football game. I took him to a high school football game the night before the Buckeye game because he wanted to see that. He goes, we don't have this. He goes, if you're a kid, you literally join a club team and you are developed throughout, you go through the steps of the club team.
Yeah.
So the Buckeyes would literally be a club team for like the Browns or Bengals or whoever. Like they don't have what we have here. So, this model is incredibly unique. It's unlike anything else out there in the sports world. And the relationship between the NFL and college football is like nothing else there is. And so it's incredibly unique. And eventually this model was going to come to where it's now sitting. It had to eventually get here. And the NCAA they refused to do anything about it. It's a good point, man. Any last thoughts before we head on out of here and move to our next call, brother?
I'd just like to tell everybody, please, if you haven't, hit the like and share, subscribe, and please subscribe to the College Huddle. Let's help Eric and other podcasters in it grow the thing, man. They deserve it. They bust their butts. They put out great content, and they deserve it, man. They're great people. Let's help blow this thing up for Eric and the guys. So please, if you haven't, go to the College Huddle and subscribe.
Appreciate it. Thank you, Sean. Have a good night, man.
You too, brother.
OH.
I-O.
Oh, man. Okay, so what Sean was talking about there, guys, is I started a second channel. It's the College Huddle. If you go to YouTube /@College Huddle, it's @College Huddle. In fact, it's this logo right here. That's the one you're looking for, that logo right there. If you would do us all a big favor and you would go there and subscribe, I would truly appreciate it. In fact, this whole topic about Tennessee, that's the next video. Michael from the Vol Fanatic Show joined me. We recorded it yesterday. It's going to drop tomorrow. All right, moving back to the phone lines. You all know who this guy is. Man, he's the legend. Ray Berger, what's happening tonight, buddy?
Eric, how you doing, partner?
Man, I'm doing great, man. How you doing?
Well, I went out and jogged my 3 miles today and got the mile in backwards, so I feel a little better today.
Hey, you're doing better than me. I can't even walk downstairs with a cooler without falling over. So, I mean...
I know. I heard about that. That's tough.
It's unfortunate, huh?
Well, I've had a few falls in my time, so I know what you're saying.
I'm getting,
Just
I'm
got to get
getting.
back up and get back in the saddle, right?
That's right. Let's get back on that. Get back on the saddle and try again. There you go. Ray, what's on your mind tonight, buddy?
Well, I was thinking we were a week away, but we're 2 weeks away still, ain't we? I guess I'm getting real nervous and
Anxious?
anticipation that the NCAA is going to do the right thing this time and nail the bully's butt real good.
15 days away, man. 15 days away from the NCAA having their powwow with the Scums athletic department administration, I'm guessing, and we're gonna find out, man. Do we have egg on our face, or
Do
are we gonna be
Are
celebrating?
they gonna? Who are they going to have over there? Is the athletic director, the president, got to be there, or what?
I assume it's going to be the athletic department and probably a representative of the school's administration. I don't know if it'll be the president, but it'll be some kind of rep, I'm assuming. But yes, I would have to assume that there are going to be some officials from the athletic department at the least. If Ward if
Well,
Ward
I go way back with
I
Michigan, and
know
I
you do.
remember Warren Manuel used to be a defensive tackle at Michigan at one time. Do you know that?
I did, yeah. He was teammates with Jim Harbaugh.
Yeah. Well, get this. I knew all them guys, okay, and I always went to picture day like you guys have, to the picture day every year they have
Sure, yeah.
for the season.
Yep.
After I got fired in 2006, I run into Ward Manuel and I had a box of chocolates I give him, cherry chocolates. I said, "Hey man, can you help me get my job back? They canned me for talking about God." He said, "I'll get back with you." You know that big lard ass never called me back.
I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised.
Yeah, me either. They need to can his butt and can that coach and can all them people over there and get a little bit of integrity back in their program. They used to have a little bit when Fritz Streifer was there. I don't know what happened to them, but they have really went downhill since I left there.
Well, they're not the leaders in the best, that's for sure.
Yeah, they used to pin things up on the bulletin board about Michigan State players getting in trouble or Ohio State players. They'd have to start a new bulletin board if they put their own people up there.
Ain't that the truth? Ain't that the truth, Ray? No doubt about it. No doubt about it, man.
I just can't. Do you think that after the 6th and 7th, or is the press going to hide from this story on ESPN now and all these other channels like Paul Feinbaum and all the rest of them?
They're
Are
not
they
going to
going to
be able
still
to
keep
hide from
hiding
it.
for the next 2 weeks?
They're not going to be able to hide from it. They're going to have to face the facts with it. They're going to have to. Whether they want to or not, Ray, it's going to be the main story, and it could, if it ends up being a nothing burger, okay, or a slap on the wrist, it's still going to be the main story. You're going to have people take their victory lap one way or the other. Either the maize and blue fans are going to take their victory lap and they're going to rub egg in our face, or we're going to take our victory lap and we're going to spike the ball on their heads. One of two things are going to happen. Both cannot be true. If the NCAA tries to ride the fence here and go down the middle and try to slap them on the wrist and maybe give them a little punishment here and a little punishment there, and Michigan fans aren't happy and Ohio State fans aren't happy, that is the worst possible place they can find themselves. They're going to either have to let this thing go and then run the risk that they are irrelevant and they are done for, or they're going to have to come down hard. And it sounds like from what Sean was saying there, that it's being reported on Scoop that it's going to be a hammer that comes down. It's going to be hard.
Well, if they really got integrity, they've got to do that, Eric.
Right.
You got to do the right thing, man.
Yeah.
All these other universities. How many universities is there in football? Can you
100,
count them?
yeah, 134 now, or is it 135? It might be 136 now because we added 2 more this year.
Don't you think all of the other universities are looking at the NCAA to see what they're going to do about this?
Yeah, I mean, I would be if I'm an athletic director.
Yeah. You can't just have people, and it goes all the way up to the president. He was backing them up all the way until he went to Florida, you know. Is he going to Florida now?
Yeah, yeah. He went to Florida. Mm-hmm. By the way, Ray, I was right. There's going to be 136 Division One football teams next year. We get 2 more. Delaware and Missouri State joined the Division One this year.
Why is the Southeastern Conference want to kick Tennessee out of it?
Because Tennessee, the governor of the state of Tennessee, passed a law that says no matter what rule the SEC puts in place when it comes to NIL, Tennessee, the state of Tennessee, does not have to adhere to it. Meaning they're going to pay their players no matter what the NCAA and the SEC say. Hey, like if the SEC says we're going to put a cap on NIL, no player can make more than $500,000 in NIL per year, something like that, right? Tennessee says we're not going to abide by that. We're going to pay them more. And so the SEC came back.
What are they trying to do? Turn themselves into Michigan?
Apparently. But the SEC came back and said, if you do that, then you do realize we can kick you out of the conference. So
What'd they say to
that? Nothing. They haven't said anything.
Oh, okay. I thought maybe they wanted to kick them out and they took such a whipping by Ohio State.
Maybe. I don't know. That's a good one, right? They got embarrassed as a conference. I don't know. What's more embarrassing, the loss that Tennessee took to Ohio State or the one Georgia took to Notre Dame?
Or Alabama losing to Michigan with 12 players out.
Yeah. No kidding, right?
That was kind of embarrassing, too, with all the players they had out.
Yeah.
I wish they'd have did that when they played us. We would have killed them.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing, man. That is embarrassing. The SEC got embarrassed in the postseason this year. They really did.
They did.
Yeah.
Where do we rank in recruiting right now? Second or third in the country? What is it?
Third. USC is number 1. Notre Dame is number 2. Ohio State is number 3 currently.
Where's the Southeastern Conference at? Georgia and Alabama.
Sneaking up on us. Let me go look real fast for you.
Yeah, I'm just curious how they're doing.
Yeah, they're coming up. It's the thing about it, Ray. I don't know if you saw the video I made about how recruiting rankings. It's a game and how they play it, and it's really sad how they do this. But you watch it after a kid commits to Ohio State or Notre Dame or Miami or whatever, right? They commit to whatever school. If it's not in the SEC, that kid's ranking drops. For instance, that offensive tackle from Missouri, he committed to Miami, the U. He was the number 1 kid in the country. I kid you not. 3 days after he committed to Miami, they dropped him to number 10. Why?
Yeah, I know. I used to watch Tom Lemming's recruiting thing and all that crap. You take all that stuff with a grain of salt, though, because look how many guys that are 5-star players, and it takes them 3 to 4 years, or maybe never. They'll end up being a bust their whole career.
Yeah. Currently, Ray, Georgia is 15th, and Alabama's 40th.
Wow, 40th.
Believe it or not,
Alabama's
behind
that guy
Michigan.
may not survive another year if he has another bad year.
He's only got 5 commits currently.
That's crazy. but it's early. I mean,
It is early.
They don't sign till what, November?
Early signing period is December, and then late signing period is February.
Yeah, February. Usually they get all the kids signed in December now. In February, usually you don't get many more recruits after that.
Yeah.
They can all sign early now, December. But once in a while, you get a top player in February. Well, I'm going to let you go, buddy. Well, it's going to be interesting in a couple of weeks. I just hope the NCAA shows some guts and do the right thing.
I'm with you, brother. Thanks for calling in, Ray. Have a great weekend, buddy.
Tell your wife I said hi. God bless you guys. I'll pray for you that you feel you're not too hurting too bad, are you?
Yeah, I'm just really sore. My knees are really sore. I'll be all right.
Take a hot bath and then a hot shower. That's what I do after I get done running.
Sounds good, brother.
Hey, God bless you, old age.
I-O. That was the living legend, everybody. That was Ray, former Michigan, worked at the Big House, and now a current Ohio State fan, man. Unbelievable. Sage, Ohio. Recruit rankings are mostly PR work. Yeah, 100%. 100%. Kevin Cowgill, Bucks 100-0. Hang 100 on them. Yep, I'm with you, buddy. I'd love to see that. Troy, you are 100% right, man. Eric's pride hurts more from that fall than the body. That is true. All right, guys, let's talk to the Speed Man. Let's bring him on. What's up, Speedy?
I don't know. You tell me, brother.
15 days away from D-Day for the team up north. Going to find out what the NCAA thinks about their cheating scandal. That's what's up.
Yeah, well, I happen to agree with TG. I'll tell you what, I think she is right on point. As far as the NCAA being labeled weak and all that by the courts and everything, that was over NIL. Obviously, something brand new to the college football scheme and all that. So yeah, they got called out, they got shoved down and all that. But as far as the rules that have been in place for all of these years, they should. I'm not saying they will, but they should get the death penalty because SMU got the death penalty back in the 80s for far less.
Yeah. So I'm wondering if it's going to be similar to what Penn State was dealt for the whole Jerry Sandusky thing. I looked it up real fast, Speed Man. In 2012, the NCAA imposed significant penalties on Penn State's football program following the Jerry Sandusky child sex abuse scandal. These included a $60 million fine, a 4-year postseason ban, and the voiding of all wins from 1998 to 2011.
Yeah, and I think as far as this investigation goes back, as far as the cheating, now the advanced scouting and all that, I do believe that since it would, we'll say this, as far as the investigation goes, and as far back as that investigation goes, that team up north should be vacated. All those wins, they should definitely be vacated, the championship and all that. Just my opinion. But I agree with TG. I think she is spot on. I don't know. I think the NCAA should come down just as hard on them as any other team that they have in the past. Outside of the whole NIL and all that stuff, where the courts came in and said, yeah, you can't do that, you can't do that. I get it. That's one thing. But they definitely violated so many rules.
Mm-hmm. They did. I mean, and they're a repeat offender. That means something, right?
Yep.
They
Yep.
obviously were trying to cover it up. And if the money was
Yep.
coming from inside the program, that means it's not some kind of, it wasn't some kind of rogue coach doing this on his own. This was a in-depth, strategic, well-planned operation from within the program to cheat the system. And if they have proof on that, they have to deliver a firm and definitive punishment that tells the rest of college football you cannot do this. Just like they told Penn State, you cannot let that kind of behavior happen inside your football program. Unacceptable. Unacceptable.
Yep. Agreed.
So,
And I'll go one step further on this other thing stuff. Why in the heck is Texas involved in the decision whether or not they are going to play a night game at the shoe? You know what? Was Ohio State asked if they want to play a night game during a whiteout in Happy Valley? Were they asked if they wanted to, play in all these other situations? I just don't get it, man. If Texas don't want to play us, even though, yes, I will agree, it's a much more difficult environment, but that's how they get street cred. There's no doubt in my mind that if Texas were to come in there and just by chance happen to beat us, that they would have so much more street cred than if they beat us at noon.
mm-hmm. Sure. Yeah. Of course, because the horseshoe's a different animal at night. But just like I was making the argument earlier, as Ohio State fans, playing Penn State in Happy Valley at 12 noon is completely different than playing Penn State in a whiteout at 7:30 at night. It's like
Absolutely.
it literally is night and day, okay? This is no different here. And so as a Texas fan, I understand why, Speedman, they are all too happy to do an 11 a.m. kick their time against the Buckeyes noon in the horseshoe. Okay. I know I completely get why they want to do that. But to your point, you make a great point, Speedman. Where's our say in this, right? Um, we we have lawmakers trying to pass bills now on our defense. We have us and Buckeye Nation complaining about it. And just like the video I made weeks ago, or I think it might have been a week ago here that we were talking about it, we have carried Fox Big Noon Kickoff enough now. Okay? You need to let Ohio State we have two big games on our schedule at home. Texas and Penn State. Those are the two big ones at home we get this year. And I'll be darned if Fox ain't going to put both of them on at noon.
Yeah, it's beyond ridiculous. Um, oh my gosh, it's just so frustrating. Excuse me, but you know what? This kind of reminds me of these other players who just enter the transfer portal and all that because they don't get the playing time and this, that, and the other. I'm sorry. Don't come to Ohio State. Don't come to Georgia. Don't come to Alabama. Don't come to Texas unless you are prepared to compete. And that's the way I feel about Texas coming out and saying, no,
Hmm.
we don't want a night game and this, that, and the other. You bunch of sissies, bring it or don't.
Yeah, well, yeah, I mean, I think in all honesty, when you look at the schedule, Ohio State should have 2 night games. Uh, Ohio State should have 2 night games on this schedule. More than likely, it's going to be 2 home games. That is Texas and Penn State. You know the game against Michigan is going to be a noon kickoff. It is every year, so you can throw that one out. Illinois at Illinois, that one has the potential to be a 7:30 kick. That could be a pretty good game. That could be two teams in the top 10. The game at Washington is either going to be a 3:30 or 7:30 kick, because it's out west, so it's 3 hours behind us. So if it's a 3:30 kick, that's 12:30 their time, and if it's 7:30, it's 4:30 their time. So I get why that one might be a 7:30 kick on the East Coast, but you get my point. Everything that is going to be a late kick is going to be an away game. And how is that fair? And then on top of it, like I could see Wisconsin being a night game. And Madison, Wisconsin is a different place at night. Again, I'll tell you that much. It's
Yep.
frustrating. It's frustrating.
Oh yeah. Yeah, totally. Well, I remember when TP was playing with us and all that, and we went up to Wisconsin, and it was a night game in Camp Randall, and third quarter came up, and they played the jump around and all that, and our kids were dancing with it just as much, and it was a close game. But you know what? I remember when the night games used to be the good games. It's one of those things when Monday Night Football and all that was planned around the teams that were supposed to be either rivals and or competitive against each other.
Mm-hmm. 100%, yeah. There used to be a time, Speedman, the Penn State game was played the last week of October, and it was always a night game. Do you remember that? It wasn't that long
Yep.
ago. That was
No, I do. I remember the blackout game. I was actually there.
Yeah, I was too. Yeah.
And then of course, yeah, and then we had the other game where we wore the Land of Wolves uniform and all that, where Marcus Ball made that touchdown catch, and it was just amazing. Yeah. So I mean, those are the games that should be the premier marquee games. I mean, that's just all there is to it, man. It's like you should never have like Alabama versus Georgia at noon.
Right.
I don't think you should ever have Ohio State against that team up north at noon. You shouldn't have, well, of course, it's not as big a rivalry now, but you shouldn't have USC against UCLA at noon. You should not have the Red River rivalry at noon.
100%, man. 100%. But here we are. I guess.
Yes, sir.
I guess some things never change. Do you got any thoughts, Speedman, on the whole Tennessee NCAA thing?
Well, you know what, brother? It's one of those things that if you don't want to abide by the rules, then sayonara. The governor of any state that thinks that he has any kind of rule over the NCAA and college sports and all that is just nothing but ego. But, if Tennessee does not want to abide by the NCAA rules, if and when, I'm pretty sure this is going to happen, if and when they come out with a salary cap or anything like that, if Tennessee doesn't want to play by the rules, then they can be out on their own and not be associated with any conference and cease to exist.
Well, that's the thing is Notre Dame has, I hate to admit this, guys, Notre Dame has played 3-dimensional chess with this thing. Look at how much money they pulled in from their appearance in the CFP last year compared to Ohio State because they're not in a conference. Then they set up their television deal with NBC. And now they can pay as much NIL as they want, and they do not have to adhere to any new rules or guidelines or guardrails that are going to come down from a conference. And that's what Tennessee, I think, is complaining about. But Notre Dame is setting kind of pretty with this thing. Now, the one thing that is going to happen, it already is, Speedman, is you have teams like USC who are part of the Big Ten who are backing out of their contract with Notre Dame. Notre Dame could get to a place where they have no one to play from the SEC and the Big Ten because they're not a part of the conference, which is the Big Ten's way and the SEC's way of forcing them to join a conference, which could happen as well. But it'll be very interesting to see how it all plays out. Any last thoughts, brother?
Yeah, well, going off what you just said, if Notre Dame is going to be a part of the NCAA, and the NCAA does come down with the salary cap and this, that, and the other, I don't care if you're a part of a conference or not. You're going to have to adhere to said rules or, hit the bricks. I just think that it'll hurt them in the long run if the salary cap does come down, just for the mere fact that, number one, they're not a part of a conference, and if they're going to the lineup as far as the college playoffs, like they say they're going to, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and all that stuff, as far as the bye weeks and this, that, and the other, that's going to kill Notre Dame.
It could, or it could help them because they're not.
It could, but I mean, dude, if they're not going to be playing USC and these other teams back out and all that, and say, you know what, nah, it's not going to benefit us at all by playing these guys,
right?
Especially since they joined the ACC schedule and all that. I mean, who's the only credible teams that they play in the ACC? What, Clemson?
Yeah,
maybe Miami.
They announced, what was it, a 12 game series with Clemson. They're going to play Clemson every single year for the next 12 seasons, beginning next season or something like that. So Notre Dame has already replaced USC on their schedule with Clemson.
Yeah, and I understand that, and that's good on them. That's a great decision by them because Clemson has been competitive over the last 10 years, but what's going to keep them competitive in the next 10 years? Because we have all seen what happened to them this past playoff.
Mm-hmm.
Clemson's not going to last where, because the NCAA finally has the playoff brackets to where Clemson and the smaller conferences, I don't say smaller conference, I'm sorry. ACC is a big conference and all that stuff. But as far as the Big 12 and the Pac-2, they've seen where the dominance is. And it's just not going to help them at all.
Well, it's interesting. I can't wait to talk to my buddy John Kennedy about this. We're going to try to get him on the show at some point this summer. Having John on is ratings gold, and having him and Chris bicker with each other is even better. But about Marcus Freeman. But I digress. That we will make sure to have all of you aware of when that happens, because his people and our people getting together in the chat is going to be a wild time, man. That is for sure, brother. All right, man. I'm going to try to wrap this show up this evening. I appreciate you calling in, Speed Man.
Yeah, hey, no problem, brother. And by the way, we are actually up here in Columbus. We're sitting in Dublin as we speak.
Nice.
I was hoping to be able to hook up with you guys.
The there's a possibility I can do that tomorrow evening. What time are you leaving tomorrow?
See, of course, we're up here in a hotel, so we'll have to check out by 11 or something like that. We're going to be in the area for a little while, but we'll have to, head back down to the southeast in the afternoon and all that. I tried to email you guys and all that stuff, whatever, but haven't heard anything back yet.
Well, I appreciate you letting me know. I did get that email. I'll shoot you an email here at the end of the show. We'll see if we can't get in touch with each other. All right.
Awesome, man. That'd be great, man. Thank you, brother. Appreciate you.
All right, Speed Man. Io, take care.
You too, brother. See ya.
All right. Let's see here. I may have accidentally just hung up on everybody. My bad. Amateur. It's amateur hour on the OHIO podcast. Good call in, Speedman. Let me get to these final comments here. Let me see. Mika says we need a group podcast special, Podfather. Let me know what you mean by that. We need a group podcast special. I need to know what you mean by that, sweetheart. All right, let me get to these. I start a couple that I want to get to. Lisa says, Eric, what happened with the College Huddle live last night? I was going to tune in. Yeah, we were going to go live last night on the College Huddle for the first time, and I tried to connect my streaming service to that YouTube channel, and it wouldn't let me do it because it's my second channel, and I have to figure that out. And I waited to the last second thinking it would be easy to do like it is for this. But every time I went to connect the streaming service, it kept connecting me to this channel and wouldn't let me connect to the other channel, even though I kept trying to figure it out. And so I just had to punt. And we recorded a special, which will be dropping tomorrow, a video. But I will effort that. We will figure it out. We will do a live with the College Huddle soon enough. $5 super chat from Baba Back. New rumor: they aren't vacating their wins. They are going to be losses and a 5-year bowl ban. Ain't the best source, but hope they're right. Thoughts? Yeah, if they're not abandoning their wins, but they're actually being handed losses for that. That would be not only a punch in the gut, that would also be a swift kick to the nads, is what that would be. Holy smokes. That would be incredible. That is wild. Thank you tonight for Buckeye Pay for becoming a member. A $5 super chat from Brian, New York. Speedman's $2 super chat. Miss Pinky with a $5 super chat. Bobby Mack with a 2 and a 5er. Appreciate all of your super chats tonight. It does help keep the lights on. For a 2-hour show, it costs us $30 to run the call-in show for all of you with the service that we use for you to dial us up. It's $15 an hour, so $30 total, and we do 2 of these a week. So we're spending about $60 a week for the call-in shows. You do the math; it's $240 a month to run these call-in shows. So the super chats are going directly to paying for that. And so we really do appreciate that from each and every single one of you. I do want you all to know that. So, all right, guys, that is it for tonight. Thank you so much for everybody who called in. Thank you for the super chats. Thank you for a lively and fun chat tonight. We appreciate all of those who participated this evening. If you haven't already, please hit the thumbs up. And don't forget, check out tomorrow morning's video that will be dropping between Corey, Chris, and myself. We played a game. It lasted 40 minutes, and you all get to be the judge for this game and tell us who you think won. So I think that is going to be a lot of fun to see what you all think about it. Tyler says, in closing, Eric, I have an idea. You need to make a song 2 weeks from now if we get our victory lap. Oh, you better believe we will. You better believe we will, Tyler. There's zero chance I'm going to let that opportunity pass up. Oh, I got you, Mika. She says with cupcakes, Podfather, for the group. Yes, indeed. We will be having a party we will be having a party in 2 weeks if that news drops, and it is some serious sanctions. You better believe we are going to be definitely having a live show with all of you here in the chat and a huge party. That is absolutely going to be happening. You better believe it, Mika. It might be a 4-hour call-in show that night with everybody taking victory laps. Great idea. All right, guys, that's tonight's show. We appreciate each and every single one of you. Remember, be kind to one another. I owe someone's OH. Sing Carmen, Ohio with all your heart. Till next time, you all know what to do. Go Bucks.